So let's get to know a little bit more about exporTT. With us this morning, Ms. Bettia Noriega Molyneux, who is the manager of export promotions, and the CEO of exporTT, Mr. Dietrich Gischard. Good morning and welcome.
Thank
How
you.
are you all
Nice
this
to be
morning?
here.
Very well, thank you.
So let's get a little bit familiar with exporTT. Many people probably aren't familiar with what exporTT is all about and what it is geared towards accomplishing.
Right. exporTT could be viewed in the wider context of government's trust to diversification of the economy. exporTT was established a few years ago coming out of the BDC as government tried to reorient business not only for in the local context, but really having and putting efforts out there to explore and develop export markets. As such, exporTT was created and mandated to become the sole national export organization, export facilitation organization of Trinidad and Tobago. But I must put it into context that exporTT focus is not on oil and gas and energy-based products, but developing local manufactured products outside of the energy sector.
Ms. Noriega, how important is it for us as a small nation, Trinidad and Tobago, to be able to export our products? And you as the export promotions manager, what are you doing to create that?
We have a number of activities scheduled to encourage manufacturers to take their products overseas. Like starting as from March 2019, we have a trade show and mission to the Dominican Republic. We are asking manufacturers to get on board because there are a number of international buyers who will be walking the show and be there to be able to see the products that we manufacture in Trinidad and Tobago. So we are asking manufacturers to come forward and join us for this mission to Dominican Republic. After that, we have another trade mission to Haiti, which is be taking place in May, the 19th to the 24th of May. So that will allow manufacturers to promote their products and sell their products into Haiti.
How many people do we have under exporTT at this time? Is it a specific number that we have?
In terms of employees,
yes.
We have just over 50 permanent employees.
In terms of businesses?
Businesses, our database of exporters are roughly 400 exporters out of Trinidad and Tobago. But we not only work with our database, if you know what I mean, because officially you become on our client list once you're an exporter. However, we have initiatives that we are working with manufacturers who are not yet exporting. So that is something I want to spend a little time on, explaining what exporTT does, and for people out there to know that you don't necessarily have to be an exporter to engage with exporTT. exporTT will take you from the
So how do they get involved with exporTT?
Right. Through a number of ways. Initial contact could be made via our Facebook and our website, www.exportt.co.tt. They can contact the office at 624-7171, and we are located very easily at the top of Charlotte Street, opposite the main entrance to the Port of Spain General Hospital. You can walk into Export House. So there are a number of ways that we could be contacted. The point I was making, Betty was touched on the trade promotion aspect of things. But exporTT is much more than that. exporTT has a suite of programs, developmental programs, the missions, the education aspect of it, all that go together in getting exporters ready for the regional and international markets. So I like to think of it as a one-stop shop where budding exporters and established exporters can come to us. We have, if I may speak a little about the various divisions that we have and how they help exporters. I will start with the capacity building division, which is manned by a manager by the name of Mr. Kristen Mirage. And as the name implies, we build capacity of local firms to get up the exporting levels for the CARICOM and regional and extra-regional areas. Capacity building, what it means, you may have a product or a service that is acceptable in the local market, but you may not have the financial wherewithal to scale up production, the proper labeling and standards to get into the wider markets outside of CARICOM. exporTT, in this instance, will hold your hand and train you up in terms of what you need to do in order to get your product or service.
So it's a partnership, really?
It is a partnership. I think before, and I don't want to blow my own horn here, but prior to me coming at exporTT, we were a bit of a more, what should I say? We did the work and we passed on the knowledge to the exporters.
So
we have changed that completely around.
Ms. Noriega, what would be some advice you would give to businesses who are seriously looking to export?
Contact exporTT because we are there. We have the knowledge, the experience, and the competencies to guide you into getting into the export market.
Now, just one other question. In terms of export, what is it looking like for us? How much do we export?
Well, exports, we track exports both from the energy exports, which we do not get involved in, and also non-energy exports of products and services. So roughly speaking, I think energy exports will account on any given year and based on the prices of commodities and so on between 8 and 10 billion US dollars. Non-energy exports for which we manage would be anywhere in the region of 700 to 1 billion US dollars.
So we continue to monitor the work that exporTT is doing, and I know Lisa is right there. Lisa, do you have any business or anything that you can export?
Well, I am smiling because I have such a fantastic experience with exporTT.
Really?
Yes, and I want to say good morning to Kristen and Mandija and Judy Marie Rock and your entire team, because one of the things that I realized, I didn't know of exporTT's services until I think it was Twigs International. Twigs, they do these teas, yeah? And they were boasting about the support that they got from exporTT and helping to move their brand international. I said, what? I have to get down there. So I went down there immediately, and the service was amazing. And what I wanted you to speak about is that exporTT doesn't just support manufacturing businesses, but also service-based businesses that export as well.
Right. So when I say export out of Trinidad and Tobago in the non-energy sector, it's exports for both products and services. So Lisa would have come to us, but before that, exporTT, so I'm glad Lisa endorsed us in that way. A very serious and senior official in the organization used to describe exporTT as the best kept secret in Trinidad and Tobago.
I agree with that, yeah.
I think we do tremendous work. We have a lot of resources and expertise and intellect that we could share with exporters to help them demystify the export process and make your product give you that added edge to be successful in entering the export arena.
Can I just say, Dietrich, as well, even things like, because people want to know, okay, what are the exact things that we're talking about here? And even things like, how do you go about registering your businesses internationally?
Right.
And the legal support that is required.
Right.
You guys assist with that.
Registering your business internationally will vary from country to country. What we can do and what exporTT does is help local businesses register their business and products abroad. So we will provide you with financial services on a co-financing basis. So you enter an agreement with us beforehand and you say, look, X amount is the cost of registering my business or product abroad. And once you provide proof that the transaction has been performed, you come back to us and we will refund you 50% of the registration process.
And the system works very well.
But money is critical. especially for young and upcoming entrepreneurs who might not have that liquidity in their business system at the start. And exporTT, apart from that co-financing aspect, which is relatively small in other areas compared to other areas where we can provide up-and-coming business with substantial financial support to get your business up and running.
Okay, well, that means I need to come back to you guys.
There are two major ones that I'd like to speak about. One is the RDF, the Research and Development Fund. Now, this is a fund that was approved by the Ministry of Trade and Industry. And really, it, in its entirety, could move a project from point A to B. And if everything hits all the right notes in accessing this fund, you can access up to $1 million TT dollars to get your project up and running. So it starts from the area of market research. So you might be an organization and you're not sure if your product will take the market and be successful. We will help you in a refundable way, up to $100,000, for which we will refund up to 70% or $70,000 for market research. Now, this falls under the RDF, the fund in its, as a basis of the RDF fund. Developmental work, which is the second phase of the RDF, which is really prototyping your product and really getting it to the stage for commercialization. Funds are available up to $750,000 for organizations who are willing to work with us and partner with us to get their product from concept to commercialization.
Okay.
And the last phase is actually commercialization and marketing, where exporTT will work with you to provide up to $150,000 in support for the execution of your product to the market.
That's excellent support there.
I wonder, have people been using these facilities?
People have been using the facilities, and I want to reach out to businesses in Trinidad and Tobago and once again let the business public, especially the young and upcoming entrepreneurs, know that this is one of the funds that are available. So if you are getting challenges, accessing sources of funds, these are grants that are non-repayable once you qualify. Now, there's a process you have to go through. There is a committee that will test the veracity of your project and so on. And so it's not a sending an application thing and I get all this money. No.
Yeah, work in progress.
Yes, it has to show value
work together.
for the national economy.
And for more information, people can call 624-7171 or check out their Facebook page, or you can check out the website as well, exporTT. Thank you very much for coming on, Mr. CEO, Dietrich Gishad, and Manager Export Promotions, Betty-Ann Noriega Molyneux. Some really good information, and hopefully people can, use the resources that they have for them.